Hi guys, I'm recording this for the second time because my mic was muted at first, but I've noticed that there is a bit of confusion with some students with Git, so I'm going to quickly go over some of the very basic commands here with you guys. Whether it's because you haven't taken software development or you just need a quick refresher on some of the Git commands, we're going to just quickly breeze through the process of how to pull down your projects and then commit and push them back up to the Git repo to submit. So the interfaces that we'll be using here are just the Git command lines. So on Mac OS, you can do that with your terminal, and on Windows, you can use the Git bash interface by running that Git bash program once you've downloaded Git. This command interpreter language is called Unix and allows us to navigate to where we want to work on our project, as well as use those commands to push and pull down different Git repos. So to start, we can go to the Dalhousie GitLab. The processes are very similar if you're using another GitLab that is private or a public GitLab or even GitHub. For Dalhousie's GitLab though, we sign in with our CSID and password. Then from this page, we can select which assignment or project that we want to pull down and start working on. I'm just going to pick an older project, but once again, these commands and processes are generalized for any project that you have with Git, so it shouldn't matter. We're going to go over to this big blue clone button, and then we're going to pick if we want to clone it with SSH or HTTPS. Now for SSH, you'll have to set up some SSH authentication keys locally, which is a little bit of a hassle compared to HTTPS. So I'm just going to go with HTTPS. They're both secure ways to access your code online and pull them down locally. So I'm going to click this copy URL button right here. Once again, if you're using SSH, you just copy the one above, but we're going to go HTTPS. So I'll copy that. And now that I've copied that, I need to set somewhere to clone this repository. In my desktop, I'll simply create a folder called 2170. You can set this name to whatever course you're working on. And then within that 2170 or whatever course folder it's called, I'll just make another folder and name it after the assignment that we're working on. So say this is for assignment 1, I'll just call it assignment 1. This is the folder in which we'll clone that Git repo to. So I'm going to go back to my terminal. And like I said, I'm going to use the Unix command language to navigate to that 2170 folder that we saw being made. And then I'll use all of my Git commands there. So we'll do ls. ls is just to list the files and folders that are in your current directory. So here we can see that desktop is available. And because we saved that folder to the desktop, that's where we want to go. So I'm going to use another command called cd, which stands for change directory, cd followed by desktop. And I'll click enter to go to my desktop. We'll do ls again. And now this is all of the stuff listed in my desktop. I'm not going to parse through it because we already know that the folder is called 2170. So we can go to cd and then 2170. Now a little trick with Unix and also while using the Git commands, instead of having to type out the folder names exactly and all of your file names exactly, you can use the autocomplete feature. So if I click in 21 to kind of start typing the string in which the file is named after, and then I click tab, it'll actually autocomplete it for me. So I'll go to 2170. We're now in that folder, and we can do ls again. We can see that there's the assignment 1. We'll go cd, type in as, hit tab for the autocomplete, and then enter. So we are now in the folder in which we're going to clone that repo down to. So to do that, we can use the Git Clone Command. So I'll type in Git Clone, and then I'm going to paste that string of text which we copied from the GitLab website. So I'll paste that there, and then I'll hit enter. And this will take a second, but basically it'll clone the Git repo down to our local folder. And if I do ls again, we can see that that project was cloned down. I'll then cd into that project. So now we're in a Git repo, so we can use the other Git commands that I'm going to show you. I can use the command git status, and click enter there. And this will let me know if I've changed, added, or removed any files that are different from the project as it is in the Git repo. If I have and want to submit them to my Git repo, I can use git add to the files I've modified. If I've removed a file, I can use git rm. So let's go modify a file and we'll see how that git add function works. So here I've opened one of the files within that project. It's just a normal Python file, and this will work the same with JavaScript, PHP, HTML, whatever type of file you have. So I'll just modify it by adding a quick comment. I'll go hello world, and I'll save that. Now you can notice that up here the file name will turn blue, which is just a way of our IDE telling us that this file no longer matches the file stored in the Git repo. So if we go back to the terminal and do Git Status, we can see the file that we've modified is now red. So like I said, we can do git add followed by the file name. So once again, I'll do ch and just autocomplete it to autocomplete the file name, and we can click enter. So now we're staging that file to be committed and ultimately pushed to the Git repo. So if we do git status again, we can see that the file name is now green, meaning that it's staged and ready to be committed to the Git repo. So once I've added all of my changes, I can push my project to the Git repo. To do this, we must first commit our changes. So we can use the Git Commit Command. And with Git Commit, we'll have to leave a message. And this message is just good for other developers or yourself in the future to know what was included in the commit, just in case you need to go back to that commit in case there are any wacky bugs in the future. So in these commit messages, we're just going to kind of give a brief summary of the changes that we did to the code. So to do that, we do -m and then double quotes. And within those double quotes, we'll include a message. So I'm just going to say changes made for Git video. And I'll click enter, and now it appears that we've committed those files successfully. So after we commit, we can finally push the final stage of our project back up to the Git repo. So once again, this will override the code in the Git repo, and it will be replaced with the project that we changed locally. So this can be done with the git push command. And it'll be the last step in submitting our local changes to the Git repo. So I'll click enter there. It'll take a minute, just like cloning, and it looks like we've successfully pushed to our Git repo. So now quickly, our last step is that we can go back to our GitLab page, click refresh, and we can just double check that that push was successful by checking our file directory here, and we can find the file that we made changes to, and it says 1 minute ago with the same commit message that we had. So this indicates that we've successfully pushed our code and submitted our project. So that's it for this video. Once again, it was just a super basic intro to the few commands that you need to know to get started with Git. For working on larger projects or in teams, there are a few other things that you'll need to know, but I think this is a really good start for learning Git for just your individual assignments. I hope I was able to refresh or even teach you a thing or two about Git. And if there are any other questions, please feel free to shoot me a message or any of the other TAs. Thanks a lot. See you later.